Hi, friends. We're so happy to be here. Welcome to our first ever video cast, Fiction in Real Life. I am Jen Geigle Johnson.
I'm Heather B. Moore.
I'm Jennifer Moore.
And I'm Julie Daines.
And you might recognize us from a previous series that we wrote together called Romance on the Orient Express. And turns out we liked hanging out so much that we decided to do it a lot more. And we've created this video cast, and we hope to be on here live with you every other week. So typically our schedule will be the second and fourth Wednesday. We're a little bit off this month, but typically you'll find us the second and fourth Wednesday right here on any of our Facebook pages, plus we're broadcasting to a YouTube channel. So we're excited to get this going, and more than anything, we're just thrilled to hear from you. So what we decided to do for today as our launch, remember, every comment you make is entered to win a full set of our Romance on the Orient Express books. So that's 4 copies, 4 books, and we'll just choose. There they are. Oh, beautiful. Oh, look at Heather. She's so talented. So we're going to offer you guys for commenting. We're going to do a random drawing of all the comments, and we'll send you each 1 copy of each of these books. So we're excited about that. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to see your comments as they go live. Yeah, like I'm already seeing Tia, Cindy, Mara, and many others. And some of them are just called Facebook users. So whoever you are, thanks for being here.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, to get started, we wanted to just give you a quick update on what's going on in our author lives. So let's do that first. Heather, do you want to let them know what you're doing?
Oh, sure. I am working on some edits right now for a historical called In the Shadow of a Queen, and it's based on Princess Louise, who is the 4th daughter of Queen Victoria. So that's what I'm up to.
That is so awesome. I'm really excited to read this book. Okay, what are you doing, Jennifer Moore?
I'm working on the 4th book in my Blue Orchid Society series.
I love that series.
Thanks. And the third one, sorry, I'm so nervous. The third one comes out in a couple of months. So
okay, so the third one comes out in a couple of months, and you're working on the 4th one.
Yep.
Oh, these are awesome. Tell me, do these have a slight mystery going along with this whole series?
Well, there's always been a little bit of a mystery. This one doesn't really have much of a mystery. So,
but kissing?
Yes, so far, no. But
okay,
that's required.
There will be kissing.
Awesome.
I love it, Julie. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I know I've been away from the writing community a little bit here, but I do have a super fun book coming out in December. It's a ways away, but it's this really fun Regency story set in Sherwood Forest, and there's a lot of Robin Hood, and it's just going to be super fun. I'm super excited for it.
I'm thrilled about that also. That is the best premise I think I can imagine for a Regency, a Robin Hood.
It's fun.
I can't wait to read it. It's been on my bucket list to read since I heard you were writing it. Okay, so what am I working on? So many things. I just finished my edits for my 4th Regency Royal. So it's called A Tenuous Betrothal. It has a cover, which I'll be announcing soon. And it's just that story I tell of the princes in a made-up fictional European nation that come to England and find these awesome women. This woman happens to be Welsh, and I was able to pull from my own Welsh ancestry and some really cool stories I kind of wove into the background of their fun romance. So my edit's just finished. And as with every edit, I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm so tired. So that is what I'm doing. So we're always doing something, the 4 of us, and we're thrilled to be able to share that with you. We'll probably start our video cast with a little update like that every time. Okay, so let's get going to the really fun stuff. This is what's going to happen on this podcast. I'm super excited. Have you guys ever heard the phrase, I couldn't make this stuff up? That is so crazy. I would have never been able to make it up, right? So we were thinking about that very idea, and then we kind of looked at each other like, but we're fiction authors. We make stuff up all the time. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, in all this cool stuff, would readers actually believe it? And there are some real life things that happen that we honestly aren't sure we would ever really include in a book because they're that out there. And this is a podcast that just explores some of the weird and crazy and kooky and fun things that happen in real life. And we wanted to share it with you. As we get to the very end, look for an opportunity to be able to submit your own fiction in real life to us. And we want to share it with everybody else. And there's prizes for doing that. So wait till the end and you'll see how you can do that. But to get started, we wanted to talk a lot about the Orient Express. So there's a lot of stuff that went on that train that we did not include in our series.
No.
And these three ladies have brought some of those stories with them today, and they're going to share them with you. And then we as authors are going to vote on whether or not we would actually include that in a real story. And you guys feel free to vote in the comments as well if you think it belongs in a book. I think that would be a fun addition. Okay, so there's a lot of stories we could have chosen, but these are the three we picked just for various reasons, and you'll see. And the first one we're going to hear from is from Julie. And this one makes me laugh, so get ready.
So there was this, this takes place in like maybe the 1920s or 30s. It didn't give an exact date here, but there was this American cabaret singer who lived in France, and she was super popular and she was so cute. Her name is Josephine Baker. And she was just, like I said, super, super popular. And she rode the Orient Express many times. But this one particular time, as the story goes, told by the conductor, it was really, really late at night. And everyone else had gone to bed, but apparently she was hungry. So she called the conductor over, who was just like the guide. Not that he didn't drive the train. He was just like in charge of, helping the passengers. Anyway, she called him over and like talked him into going down to the kitchen and getting her a snack. And he didn't really want to, but he did it. And he came back. And then she gave him his own private performance of what she calls the banana dance. And maybe some of you have heard of it because it was like her signature dance. And she didn't wear anything except a little tiny skirt made of bananas that like hung low on her hips, right? And so she gave this conductor his own private performance of the banana dance, which if I was to describe it, I would say it's halfway between maybe, I don't know, twerking and belly dancing.
Burlesque, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it was, for the time, it was a super modern move that she was doing, this little twerking type thing. Anyway, that is the story that is told about Josephine Baker on the Orient Express, at least in this one instance.
I'm dying. Okay, ladies, we need to vote on this. Would you guys include this in a book? Would you book it? Tell me, Heather, would you?
I would book it because that is a very non-known historical fact, and I thought it was very interesting. And I also think it could maybe I wouldn't like put it in her point of view or the conductors, but maybe it can be a little scandal on the train that some of the gossiping elderly ladies talk about later while they're playing whist.
That's good. Okay, Jennifer, what about you?
I don't think I'd book it. I mostly write, clean romance, and I don't know if the banana skirt is quite it's quite covering enough, And I have so many questions. Were they real bananas? And did they go
so
bad
I think
during
she started with some real bananas, and then later she moved to like rubber bananas or fake bananas, and then like cloth sewn bananas. And
I mean, it's a
So this is a real thing with this lady. I didn't know any of this until you told me, Julie. So she just really became known for these bananas. Yeah,
she's a crazy woman. I could go on for so many things that she did. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay, so Julie, would you book your own story? Would you book
Well,
it?
I'm saying I probably would not book it because, again, I think I'm along the same lines as Jennifer. It may be a little too risque for what I generally write and for my audience that generally reads my stories, but I do think it's hilarious. And you can actually watch the banana dance if you search it on YouTube. There's like lots of videos. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think
more wearing more clothing.
Yeah, you can find pictures of her doing the banana dance with like a little like bikini top or something.
Like coconuts, like a
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly didn't watch a lot of them, but I felt I should watch one, so I was informed about what we were talking about. But
who knew we would be so scandalous?
Our first show.
Our very first show. Okay, so I'm gonna say yes, but I'm like along the lines of Heather because I would just reference it. Or maybe somebody comes across the bananas, or they just see her out of the corner of their eye.
Or like if they're hungry, I mean, it can be dance time, it can be snack time.
That's my skirt. Don't eat it.
Anyway, I think there's a way to handle it so it ups the intrigue and like brings a bit of history into it without getting into
Well, it is kind of funny that you mentioned intrigue because she also has, so she was American, but she lived in France pretty much her whole life. And during World War II, she did do some spying on the Orient Express.
Oh, okay. So that brings us right into our next story. But before we get there, really quick, we have some comments I thought were funny. A lot of people are saying, yeah, book it. And they're like, I like the scandal angle. Great story. Include it in a book. Josephine was brave. And then a couple of people said really nice things about us, like we're their favorite and they love us. I love them too. So that's fun. Thank you all for being here. This is fun. All comments are going to be entered to win our series, and we just appreciate the conversation, really. Okay, so Jennifer, along the lines of spying, what do you have for us?
Okay, this is the story of Robert Baden-Powell, and you probably have heard his name. He's the guy that started the Boy Scouts of America when he was older, but this was when he was younger, and he served in the military. And he was one of their agents of espionage. So he would travel around on the Orient Express under the, and I couldn't quite tell through the research if this was his real hobby or if this was just like part of his undercover. But he was a lepidopterist. So he was like a butterfly watcher, butterfly enthusiast. And he would travel on the Orient Express through Eastern Europe. And he would have his little notebook and his binoculars and a butterfly net and just go tromping around, the wilderness or wherever. And nobody even paid him any mind because, it was obvious what he was doing and that he was probably just kind of a scientist or, just a butterfly watcher. And if anybody ever looked, if any, officials were ever like, well, what were you doing? And they looked in his notebook, there would be these drawings like of spots that are designs of butterfly wings, but they were actually diagrams of military installations that he was drawing. So it's a cool story, right?
That is awesome. Okay, so much more I want to know about this guy just from your little teaser. Let's talk about it, ladies. Is this something you would book? Heather, would you book it?
I would not book it. And it's not because I don't think this is a cool story, but when you were talking, Jennifer, I was just thinking of all the research I'd have to do on the military, on collecting butterflies, it just sounded like, wow, that would be a great book for someone else to write.
All right. What about you, Julie?
I think I would book it because, to be honest, I've had a little bit of angry PTSD issues with this Baden-Powell guy because we did not do well with scouting in our family. It only caused strife and unhappiness. And I think that maybe, I don't know why I blame that guy, but it's not his fault. But maybe if I did do some research and learn more about some of the cool things he did, maybe I would feel better about him and not blame him for all my mother angry scouting issues.
Oh, the day we could stop scouting was a happy day at my house as well.
So I would book it. Plus, I love butterflies, and I think that's a super interesting angle for spy work.
Super clever. No one would have suspected, really, until they knew.
Right.
So Mindy Holt says, book it. Amanda Coswell, book it. Margot, book it. Cindy, book it. Everyone's like, book it. Okay, I'm going to succumb to peer pressure. I'm booking it. Yes. I think he's cool. I would need to, there'd have to be a romance. The guy's got to fall in love, though. So somebody's into his butterfly drawings enough that, there's going to be something happening there. But I would find a way because that's really cool. All right. Awesome.
Oh, wait. Okay. I got it.
Oh, you
I
haven't
would
got
book
it,
it.
Jennifer? I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
No, it's fine. We're just doing it in order. I would book it. I think he's, first of all, handsome, and I love military history. I think it would be a cool story.
And once you knew all that stuff, think how many books you could write with it, right? I think that's great.
Yeah, and what about the cute banana dancer? You know, maybe she could be the heroine.
Maybe they could fall in love.
But maybe they really knew each other.
Maybe they probably did. I do
Yeah.
think that a lot of these people rode the Orient Express frequently
Yes.
for whatever reasons.
And if she was a spy and he was a spy, I'm already seeing a
True.
story happen.
Yeah.
True.
In fact,
Yeah.
one time when the train wrecked and a bunch of cars fell off this huge overpass thing, whatever those railroad trestle bridges are called, Josephine Baker was on the train and she didn't get hurt, but everyone was panicking and she got out and she like calmed everyone down by singing her little, show songs and reciting poetry and stuff like that. So
She gave everyone a banana.
quite a person. Oh, someone said we should name it. Nancy Allen says we should name it Bananas and Butterflies.
Oh, that's perfect.
Ooh, that really is.
Margot's like, is it the butterflies or is it the stash? What's the It's a toss-up, right? I don't know.
I'm still gonna let you guys write it. So, and I will read it. I will read it.
Heather's in the minority, but it sounds like it's got to be books. We've got to write about the guy. Sounds good. So speaking of spies, Heather, I heard it from the grapevine that you have a spy story of your
I have
own.
a good spy story. I was a spy. So I used to read mystery all the time as, I don't know, probably started 11 or 12 years old. I read all Americans Clark books published up to that point. And I think I was just bored in my room. It was a Saturday, and I don't know if I currently was reading a mystery novel, but you know, when you've been in a neighborhood for a long time and someone parks in your house and you're like, who's that in front of our house? Because you know all your neighbors, you know all their cars. And so a green motorcycle parked in front of our house. And so I'm like, wow, I'm going to write down that guy's description because I don't know who he is. And I was probably 12 or 13. So I got out my little notepad and I wrote down everything about him. I wrote down the description of his motorcycle and his license plate number and everything. So fast forward about 2 days, and I hear my mom on the phone talking to a neighbor saying that the police had come by her house asking questions. They were looking for a drug dealer that had started to come into the neighborhood. And he drove a motorcycle. And I said, a green motorcycle? And my mom's like, anyway. So it ended up that later that day, the police showed up at our house. And they asked me they asked me questions, and I just gave them what I written. And I remember them looking at me just, why did you write this down? I said, I don't know. I just was really bored and I was pretending to be a detective. So I wonder if it was like a running joke in the police department and you know, for decades after that. But I was a spy, not trying to be a spy, but it paid off.
That is so cool. Okay, I'm totally answering first. I'm booking it. I love that story. I have to book it. But I would change your age. I would book you as a middle-aged woman who's kind of just a housewife bored. And then
So like I am now, like right now.
Heather, I'd write you now. And no. Anyway, yes, I'm in. I'm booking it. What about you, Julie?
I would not book it.
What?
Only because I think it is a great middle grade story, and I do not write middle grade. But it's so cute. It's like all Calpurnia Tate and whatever, you know. So I think it's cute, but it's not my genre. There has to be romance, and that's a little young for romance.
Yeah,
you know?
I won't be offended. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. What about you, Jennifer?
I would book it. In the wrong direction. I would book it, but probably as maybe a subplot or a side character because, again, romance, unless she ended up falling in love with the guy on the motorcycle.
Ooh.
Or the policeman that came to the door.
True.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Heather, would you book your own story?
Or maybe you
I
already
don't know.
have.
Maybe I've already booked out. I don't know. I think I probably at this point I would say no, but and maybe more like what Julie said is because in my mind I was this kid and I don't write, you know, for younger audiences, but who knows, maybe I will someday.
Okay, so Mara says Heather was like Nancy Drew. And now I'm so much more
I
intrigued.
did read a lot of Nancy Drew, and I just remembered that now. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe Nancy did stuff like that. I read all. I think there's 50. I think I read all 50.
Yeah, me too. We're such fans. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm even more intrigued by this story. And isn't Heather even more awesome now that we know that she was like, did they find him? Did they find the drug dealer guy?
As far as I know, they did. I mean, I didn't really get a follow up, but
Yeah.
as far as I know, it was very helpful, and I definitely helped with that.
Nice. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. That's super cool. Okay, so we have made a goal to keep this short and sweet and fun. Like I said, there's so many stories we could have shared from this train. Off the top of my head, you probably don't even know this, but on a daily basis, on the train that runs now, that's not technically the Orient Express, they have 30 proposals a day at least. They don't allow marriages, but they let people propose. There's all kinds of stuff going on this train even today. So there's a lot of things we could have shared. We chose 3 fun ones, and we plan on doing something like this every episode. However, here's where you guys come in. So what we want to do is ask for your submissions of your own stories, maybe like Heather's, but maybe something you read about or something you know. These could be anything, not necessarily from history. They could be modern day weirdest first kiss, the way my husband proposed to me, that awkward blind date, or they could be something like a creepy ghost story from your town. What are some other thoughts, ladies? Can you remember ones we were thinking
Yeah,
about?
any weird urban myths and legends, something weird or funny maybe that your high school did.
Family traditions that are
Family
weird. Practical
traditions.
jokes you've been a part of.
Like
Weird
a
things that
a
have
hobby
happened
that
while
no one
traveling.
knows. Yeah, like a hobby no one knows you have, an embarrassing moment.
I mean, on and on and on. We will keep sharing as well, but if we decide to share one of your submissions, we're going to send you a really cool fiction in real life sticker. It's up there in the corner, and so that, yeah, there you go. It's hard to know which direction. We're going to send you a fun sticker and a thank you for your submission, and we'll give you lots of kudos online too. So please submit any of your ideas. You can submit more than one. If anything comes up in the middle of the day and you remember, add it on. We're going to be doing this for a while. We've decided we love this. So thanks for your comments. Also, we're making note of all of them. We plan on leaving this broadcast up, accepting comments for at least another day. What did we decide? One day? So tomorrow, this time ish, maybe tomorrow night, we will close commenting for the prize, but then of course you can still chat and linger as long as you'd like. And then we'll be announcing the winner of our full set of the Romance on the Orient Express series. So that's kind of fun. We will we'll also plan on returning same time, same place, but in 2 weeks. So the 5th Wednesday of this month was going to be a little bit different from our typical schedule, at which time we will announce the topic, which might be chosen from your submissions, or it could be from other things we've already researched and are excited to share. So that's how this is going to go. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Your comments are cracking us up. We're so thrilled that you're here. And we're just going to thank you for joining us on Fiction
In
Real
Life.
Thank you, ladies. We're appreciating.
Thank you. Bye.